Pregnant black woman kicked out on Christmas Eve. Mistakenly texts the Korean Mafia boss. Christmas Eve should taste like hot cocoa and cinnamon rolls fresh from the oven. It should sound like Mariah Carey on repeat and children's laughter echoing through warm hallways. It should feel like coming home to people who love you, to arms that wrap around you no matter what. But for Camille Baptiste, Christmas Eve tasted like ash and betrayal. It sounded like a door slamming in her face, and it felt like ice. Bitter, bone-deep ice that had nothing to do with the snow falling on the Chicago streets and everything to do with the man she'd loved for 6 years. Picture this. December 24th, 6:47 p.m. The kind of cold that makes your lungs burn when you breathe. Christmas lights twinkling on every house except one. That one house, her house, stood dark, lifeless, like it had already decided she didn't belong there anymore. Camille stood on the front porch of the home she'd helped decorate just 3 days ago. 8 months pregnant, her belly so swollen she couldn't see her feet, couldn't bend to tie her own boots. She'd been at the community center all afternoon, helping serve Christmas dinner to families who had nowhere else to go. She'd smiled. She'd sung carols. She'd felt blessed. Blessed to have a home. Blessed to have a husband. Blessed to be carrying their miracle baby after 4 years of trying, after 3 miscarriages that had nearly broken her. Her key turned in the lock, and she pushed the door open with her hip, arms full of leftover containers from the center. "Dante!" she called out, voice bright. "Baby, I'm home. I brought some of Mrs. Chen's peach cobbler." The words died in her throat. Her suitcases stood in the hallway, not packed away in the closet where they belonged, lined up, like soldiers, like an execution squad waiting for orders. 3 suitcases, her clothes spilling out of the half-zipped openings, her favorite yellow scarf, the one Dante had bought her on their honeymoon in Paris, crumpled on the floor beside them like trash. "Dante!" Her voice cracked. The containers slipped from her hands, cobbler exploding across the hardwood floor in a mess of peaches and crust. "Dante, what's happening?" He appeared at the top of the stairs. Camille's heart stuttered because the man looking down at her wasn't her husband. Not the Dante who kissed her forehead every morning. Not the Dante who sang to her belly every night. Terrible off-key renditions of Luther Vandross that made her laugh until she cried. This man's eyes were stone. His jaw was set. His hands were fisted at his sides. "Get out," he said. 2 words, spoken so coldly they might as well have been bullets. Camille's hand flew instinctively to her belly, to the daughter growing inside her, the daughter they'd already named, Zoe Grace Baptiste. "What are you talking about?" she whispered. "Dante, it's Christmas Eve." "What?" "Don't." His voice cracked like a whip. He descended the stairs slowly, each step deliberate. "Don't stand there and play innocent with me, Camille. Not after what I found." Her mind raced, searching desperately for context. "Found?" "Baby, I don't understand." He shoved his phone in her face so violently she flinched back. The screen glowed with text messages, her name at the top, her number. Except these weren't her words. "I can't stop thinking about that night. When can I see you again? My husband will never know. He's too stupid to notice. This baby might not even be his." The messages went on, and on. Dozens of them, spanning months. Exchanges with someone saved only as M in the contacts. Graphic, explicit, planning meetings at hotels, talking about money, about leaving Dante once the baby was born and the insurance policy paid out. "These aren't mine," Camille breathed, eyes wide with horror. "Dante, I never wrote these. I don't even know who M is." "Liar." The word exploded from him. He swiped to another screen. "Then explain this." A photo. Grainy. Time-stamped 8 months ago. Camille, unmistakably Camille, entering the Riverside Hotel downtown. The timestamp read 2:47 p.m. on a Tuesday when she'd told Dante she was at a prenatal yoga class. Her mind spun. Yes, she'd gone to that hotel, but not for what he was implying. Her college roommate, Jasmine, was staying there during a business trip. They'd had lunch in the hotel restaurant. That was all. She'd been home by 5 p.m. I was meeting Jasmine, my friend from Howard. She was in town for... I have video, Camille. His voice dropped to something worse than anger, something final. Security footage of you going up to room 812, of you staying there for 3 hours, of you leaving with your hair messed up and your shirt buttoned wrong. The world tilted sideways. That's impossible, she whispered. I never went to a room. I stayed in the restaurant. Dante, please. I have bank statements showing charges to that room on your credit card. Room service, champagne, chocolate-covered strawberries. He laughed, bitter and broken. You always did like strawberries. Tears streamed down Camille's face. Someone's setting me up, baby, please, you have to believe me. I love you, I would never. 8 months ago, Camille. He pointed at her belly, his fingers shaking. That's when you got pregnant. That's when you went to that hotel. You do the math. Understanding crashed over her like ice water. You think Zoe isn't yours, she breathed. I think, Dante said, voice breaking now, that I've been played for a fool by a woman I loved more than my own life. I think you saw a successful black man with money and decided to trap him with another man's baby. I think... His voice cracked completely. I think I don't even know who you are. Dante, get out of my house. He turned away from her, shoulders rigid. I've already called my lawyer. You'll be served divorce papers after Christmas. We'll do a paternity test when the baby's born, but honestly, I don't even care anymore. I just want you gone. It's Christmas Eve, Camille cried, one hand on the doorframe to steady herself. It's 20 degrees outside. I'm 8 months pregnant. Where am I supposed to go? He didn't turn around. Not my problem anymore. The door slammed so hard the Christmas wreath fell off, holly berries scattering across the porch like drops of blood. Before we continue this story, I need to know you're feeling this as deeply as Camille is. Drop a broken heart emoji in the comments if you can feel her pain right now. Hit that subscribe button if you want to see how this ends, because what happens next will blow your mind. Now, let's get back to Camille's nightmare. Camille stood on the porch for 17 minutes. She counted. She counted because counting was the only thing keeping her from collapsing. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, each second ticking by while snow gathered in her hair, on her shoulders, melting against the tears on her cheeks. Her suitcases sat beside her, abandoned by a man who'd loved her yesterday and believed the worst of her today. The neighborhood was quiet. Christmas Eve magic happening behind every window except hers. She saw the Johnsons across the street, their tree visible through bay windows, 3 generations gathered around it. Mr. Chen next door was shoveling his driveway, probably heading to midnight mass soon. No one looked at her. Or maybe they did, but they looked away quickly. Because a pregnant black woman crying on a porch with suitcases told a story everyone thought they already knew and nobody wanted to get involved in. Camille pulled out her phone with trembling fingers. She needed someone. Anyone. Her mother was in Haiti visiting relatives. She'd begged Camille to come, but Camille had wanted to spend Christmas with Dante. Her father had passed 3 years ago. Her brother Marcus was deployed overseas. Her best friend Taya was in Atlanta for the holidays. She scrolled through her contacts, vision blurring. Then she remembered. Nia. Her cousin Nia lived on the south side, about 40 minutes away. Nia would come get her. Nia would believe her. Camille's fingers were so cold she could barely type. The message came out broken, frantic. Nia, please, I need help. Dante kicked me out. He thinks I cheated. I have nowhere to go. I'm so cold. Please, I'm at the house. Can you come get me? I didn't do anything, I swear. I didn't do anything. The baby... She hit send, then pressed the phone to her chest, sobbing. What Camille didn't know, couldn't have known, was that her frozen fingers had made a mistake. A single digit transposed in her panic. The message didn't go to Nia Baptiste, Southside social worker and devoted cousin. It went to someone else entirely. 27 blocks away in a penthouse that occupied the entire top floor of the LaSalle Tower, Kim Min-jun sat in a leather chair that cost more than most people's cars, staring at 3 computer monitors that displayed real-time information on shipping routes, currency exchanges, and the locations of 17 people who currently owed him either money or blood. Min-jun didn't celebrate Christmas. He was 31 years old, and he'd learned early that holidays were just days when people's guards were down, when business could be conducted more efficiently, when enemies made mistakes. He'd been in Chicago for 6 years, ever since his father, the head of the Baekpa syndicate in Seoul, had sent him to establish the American operations, money laundering through legitimate businesses, strategic partnerships with the Irish mob on the West Side and the Latin Kings in Pilsen. Protection rackets that never made the news because the people being protected understood that silence was survival. On paper, Kim Min-jun was the CEO of Hanul Imports, a wildly successful company dealing in Korean skincare, technology, and automotive parts. Off paper, he was the youngest and most dangerous Korean mafia boss in the United States. His phone buzzed on the glass desk. Unknown number, long message. Min-jun almost deleted it. He got dozens of these daily, people who'd somehow obtained his number and thought begging would earn them mercy. But something made him open it. The message was chaos, no punctuation, words running together, desperation bleeding through every character, then a photo loaded, a video message attached. Min-jun tapped it. A woman's face filled the screen, dark brown skin, natural hair pulled back in a bun that was falling apart, eyes swollen from crying, mascara tracking down her cheeks, and visibly heavily pregnant. She was sitting on what looked like a porch steps, snow falling around her. Her breath came out in visible puffs. She was shaking, from cold or emotion, probably both. "Nia," she said, voice breaking. "It's Camille. I don't know if you got my text, but I need you to see this, to know what happened." The camera shook as she adjusted it. "Dante kicked me out. Tonight, Christmas Eve." A sob broke through. "He says I cheated on him 8 months ago. He has text messages I never sent, photos of me at a hotel I did go to, but not for what he thinks. He thinks—" Her voice dropped to a whisper. "He thinks Zoe isn't his baby." She pressed a hand to her belly, protective and desperate. "I didn't cheat. I swear on everything I didn't cheat. I don't remember anything strange about that day 8 months ago. I met Jasmine for lunch at the Riverside Hotel. We ate in the restaurant. I was home by 5, but Dante has footage of me going to a room I never went to, charges on my credit card I never made, and I don't understand how, but someone set me up." Tears streamed freely now. "I'm so cold, Nia. I don't know where to go. Please come get me. I'm scared. The baby—" She placed both hands on her belly. "Please, I need my family." The video ended. Min-jun stared at the screen for a long moment. Then he replayed it, and something clicked. That face. He knew that face. 8 months ago. The Riverside Hotel. He'd been there for a meeting with the Calabresi family, Italians who controlled the North Side and wanted to discuss territory boundaries. The meeting had gone well, ended early. His lieutenant, Han Seo, had arranged for entertainment as a gesture of goodwill. Min-jun had gone to room 812. There had been a woman there, already in the room when he arrived, courtesy of the hotel's discreet services for high-paying guests. Beautiful, nervous. She'd said her name was— he couldn't remember, but she'd had an accent, not quite American, a lilt to her words. They'd talked for a while. She'd seemed out of place, like she wasn't used to this kind of arrangement. He'd poured her champagne to ease her nerves, ordered strawberries because she'd mentioned liking them. He remembered her laughing, remembered the way she'd looked at him, not with the practiced seduction of a professional, but with something genuine, curious. And he remembered the next morning, waking up alone. She'd vanished. No note, no trace. Just the faint scent of cocoa butter lotion on the pillow beside him. He'd asked Han Seo about it. Han had shrugged, said the woman must have left early, that it happened sometimes. Minjun had thought nothing of it. One night among many, forgettable. Except now, staring at this woman's tear-stained face on his phone, he knew. She was the woman from room 812, and she was 8 months pregnant. Minjun's jaw tightened. He stood abruptly, the chair rolling back silently on the marble floor. "Han Seo!" His voice cut through the penthouse. His second-in-command appeared within seconds from the adjacent office, young and sharp-eyed, always 3 steps ahead. "Yes, young Nim. 8 months ago, the Riverside Hotel, room 812. I want every detail. Who arranged for the woman? How did she get there? I want security footage, credit card records, phone records. I want her name, her address, her entire life story on my desk in 30 minutes. Han Seo's eyes widened slightly. Minjun rarely showed urgency, but he nodded. "Yes, sir." "And Han?" "Sir?" "Trace this number." Minjun held up his phone. "Find out where she is right now. I want a car there in 15 minutes. Han Seo hesitated. "Sir, this is Christmas Eve. The traffic—" "Then make sure it gets there in 10. Minjun's voice dropped to the register his men knew meant violence if disobeyed. "Move!" Han Seo vanished. Minjun returned to the window, looking out over the glittering city. Snow was falling harder now, coating Chicago in white that would be gray slush by morning. Somewhere out there, a woman he'd spent one night with 8 months ago was sitting on a porch, pregnant and abandoned, crying for someone named Nia who would never get her message. But Minjun had gotten it instead. And if there was one thing Minjun believed in, one code that transcended business, territory, and blood, it was this. What was his stayed his. He didn't know yet if the baby was his. Didn't know the full story. Didn't know who had set this woman up or why. But he would find out. And when he did, whoever had touched what belonged to him would learn that Kim Minjun's mercy was a myth, and his revenge was legend. He pulled out his phone and made one more call. "Dr. Lim," he said when a woman answered. "I need you at my penthouse in 1 hour. I'm bringing you a patient, 8 months pregnant, exposure to cold, extreme stress. Be ready for anything." He ended the call and grabbed his coat. The black Mercedes was already waiting downstairs when he reached the street, engine running, heat blasting. His driver, a stone-faced man named Kwan, didn't ask questions. "The address is uploading to your GPS now," Minjun said, sliding into the back seat. "Fast as you can." The car shot into the night. Camille had stopped crying. Not because she felt better, not because hope had returned, but because her body simply had no tears left, and the cold was so deep now that her face felt numb, like it belonged to someone else. She'd given up on Nia responding. Maybe she was at church. Maybe her phone was dead. Maybe the universe had decided that Camille Baptiste didn't deserve help tonight. She'd tried calling a shelter, 3 of them, all full. Christmas Eve always filled shelters beyond capacity. She'd tried calling Taya anyway, even though she was states away. Straight to voicemail, probably on a plane coming back from her parents' house. Camille stared at her suitcases, at the snow gathering on top of them, and thought about the baby, Zoe Grace. Due February 18th. A Pisces, the doctor had said, smiling, compassionate and artistic. "I'm sorry," Camille whispered to her belly. "I'm so sorry, baby girl. Mama's trying. I promise I'm trying." Movement inside her, a kick against her ribs. Zoe was active tonight, probably responding to Camille's stress. Camille was just considering calling a taxi to take her to a motel. She had her credit card, though God knew how many charges Dante would claim she'd made, when headlights appeared at the end of the street. A black Mercedes, sleek and expensive, completely out of place in this middle-class neighborhood. It slowed as it approached her house. Camille's heart jumped into her throat. She tried to stand, but her legs were too stiff, too cold. The car stopped at the curb. The back door opened and a man stepped out. Tall, probably 6'1", 6'2", East Asian features, sharp and beautiful in a way that made him look almost unreal. black wool coat that probably cost more than Camille's car, tailored perfectly to broad shoulders, dark eyes that found her immediately through the falling snow. He approached the porch with purposeful strides. Camille's breath caught. She didn't know this man, didn't recognize him. Every instinct screamed danger. Strange man, dark night, vulnerable woman, alone. She tried to scoot backward. Her body wouldn't cooperate. He stopped at the bottom of the steps, snowflakes catching in his black hair. When he spoke, his voice was low, accented, controlled. "Camille Baptiste?" She froze. "How do you know my name?" "You sent me a message," he said, "asking for help. I'm here to give it." I didn't send you anything. I don't even know you. I was texting my cousin." "Wrong number." The corner of his mouth lifted just barely, not quite a smile. "You sent it to me instead." Camille's mind raced. The message, the video, she'd sent them to, oh God, to a wrong number, to this stranger. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to bother you. I'll delete your number. I won't." "Stop talking," he said, not unkindly. "You're shaking so hard I can hear your teeth from here. How long have you been out in this cold?" I don't answer me." The command in his voice made her respond automatically. Maybe half an hour, maybe more. 8 months pregnant, in 20-degree weather, for half an hour. Something dark crossed his face. "Get in the car." "No." Camille shook her head. "No, I don't know you. I appreciate you coming, but I can't just—" "You have somewhere else to go?" He tilted his head slightly. "Someone else who answered your call for help?" Camille's silence was answer enough. "Then get in the car, Camille." He took one step up. "I'm not going to hurt you. I'm going to get you warm, get you checked by a doctor, and figure out what the hell happened tonight. After that, you can make your own decisions. But right now, you need to trust me." "Why would you help me?" Her voice broke. "You don't even know me." Something flickered in his eyes. "Don't I?" Before she could process that, he climbed the steps and crouched beside her. This close, she could see details, the scar through his left eyebrow, the snow melting on his shoulders, the way his eyes, so dark they were almost black, held hers without wavering. "My name is Kim Min-jun," he said quietly, "and 8 months ago you and I met at the Riverside Hotel, room 812. The world stopped. Camille's breath caught in her throat. "What?" "I think," Min-jun said, his gaze dropping briefly to her belly before returning to her face. "We have a lot to talk about, but not here, not in the cold." He stood and extended his hand. Camille stared at it. Her mind was screaming contradictions. Danger, safety, stranger, connection. Run. Stay. Another kick from inside her. Zoe reminding her she wasn't just making decisions for herself anymore. Slowly, Camille placed her frozen hand in his warm one. Min-jun pulled her to her feet with surprising gentleness, his other hand steadying her elbow. He nodded to his driver, who immediately began loading her suitcases into the trunk. "Can you walk?" Min-jun asked. "I think so." He kept his hand on her elbow anyway, guiding her down the steps and across the icy sidewalk. When she stumbled, his arm went around her waist, taking her weight without comment. The car's back seat was warm, heated leather that felt like heaven against her frozen skin. Min-jun slid in beside her, maintaining a respectful distance, and nodded to the driver. The Mercedes pulled away smoothly. Camille watched her house, Dante's house now, disappear in the rearview mirror. The dark windows, the fallen wreath, the life she'd built there crumbling behind her. "Where are we going?" she whispered. "Somewhere safe," Min-jun said. "I promise." Camille looked at him. This beautiful, dangerous stranger who somehow knew about the hotel, about that day 8 months ago that had destroyed everything, and realized she had no choice but to believe him, because the alternative was freezing to death on a porch while carrying a baby the whole world thought was a mistake. Min-jun pulled out his phone, typed something quickly, then looked at her. "There's a blanket behind you," he said, "and the heat is on. Try to warm up." Camille reached back with shaking hands and found a soft cashmere blanket. She wrapped it around herself, and for the first time in an hour, the shaking began to ease. Min-jun made a call, speaking in Korean too rapid for her to catch more than a few words. But his tone, sharp, commanding, made it clear he was giving orders, not making requests. When he hung up, he noticed her watching him. "Doctor will be at my place in 40 minutes, he said. "She's the best in the city. She'll make sure you and the baby are okay." "I can't afford—" "I'm not asking you to pay." His voice softened slightly. "Tonight, just let someone take care of you. We'll figure out the rest tomorrow." Tears pricked Camille's eyes again. "Why are you doing this?" Min-jun was quiet for a long moment, looking out at the snowy streets passing by. "Because 8 months ago," he finally said, "I woke up alone in that hotel room and wondered where you'd gone. Because I've thought about that night more than I should have. And because—" He turned to face her fully. "If that baby is mine, then you're carrying my child and I don't abandon what's mine." The certainty in his voice sent a shiver through Camille that had nothing to do with cold. "I don't remember that night," she whispered. "I don't remember you. I don't remember being in that room. I remember having lunch with my friend Jasmine in the hotel restaurant, and then I remember waking up the next morning in my own bed with the worst headache of my life." Min-jun's jaw tightened. "Then someone drugged you. But why? Who would—" Realization dawned slowly, horribly. Someone wanted this to happen. Someone wanted me in that room, wanted me to get pregnant, wanted Dante to think I cheated. "Who profits from that?" Min-jun asked immediately, his mind already working through possibilities. Camille thought hard. "Dante's family never liked me. They thought he married beneath him. I'm from a working-class Haitian family, and he's third-generation money. But they wouldn't—" She trailed off, uncertain. "Money?" Min-jun pressed. "Insurance? Inheritance? Dante has a life insurance policy. $2 million. I'm the beneficiary, but if we divorce—" She stopped. "Oh my God, his brother Marcus has been pushing him to change it, to name his sister instead. They said I was only with Dante for his money." Min-jun's expression darkened. "And if Dante thought you'd cheated, if he divorced you, the policy would change." Camille's hands trembled around the blanket. "And if something happened to Dante, his family would get everything instead of me." "Who knew you'd be at that hotel that day?" Camille's mind raced. Jasmine. And I'd mentioned it to Dante's sister, Vanessa. She'd asked what I was doing that day, and I told her I was meeting a friend downtown. Camille's breath caught. "She asked which hotel. She said she might stop by for coffee after her hair appointment. I thought she was trying to be friendly." Min-jun pulled out his phone again. "What's her full name?" "Vanessa Baptiste. But you can't just—" "I can," he typed rapidly. "And I will. By morning, I'll know everything about Vanessa Baptiste, her finances, her associates, where she was 8 months ago, who she's been talking to." "How can you possibly—" "I have resources." His tone suggested that was the end of that discussion. The car turned onto Lakeshore Drive, the frozen lake stretching dark and endless to their right. Ahead, downtown Chicago glittered with lights. They pulled up to a building Camille recognized, the LaSalle Tower, one of the most expensive addresses in the city. The doorman rushed to open Min-jun's door, bowing slightly. "Mr. Kim, Merry Christmas, sir." "Kwan will help with the luggage," Min-jun said to him. "Make sure it gets to my private elevator." "Of course, sir." Min-jun stepped out, then reached back for Camille. She took his hand and let him help her from the car, his touch steady and sure. The lobby was marble and gold, decorated with a massive Christmas tree that must have been 20 feet tall. A few other residents passed through, expensive coats and designer shopping bags, throwing curious glances at the pregnant black woman in her rumpled clothes being escorted by Kim Min-jun. Let them look, Camille thought with sudden defiance. She was tired of caring what people thought. The elevator required a keycard. Minjun scanned his, and they rode up in silence, the numbers climbing. 40, 50, 60. The elevator opened directly into a penthouse. Camille stepped out into a space that looked like it belonged in a magazine. Floor-to-ceiling windows offering a panoramic view of Chicago, minimalist furniture in black and white, art on the walls that she suspected was worth more than her entire existence. This is... She couldn't find words. Home, Minjun finished. He removed his coat and hung it on a rack near the elevator. For now, it's your home too. A woman appeared from a hallway, older, Korean, with kind eyes. She bowed to Minjun and said something in Korean. Mrs. Cho is my housekeeper, Minjun explained. She's preparing a room for you, but first let's get you warm. He guided Camille to a leather sofa facing the windows. The moment she sat, the tension she'd been holding flooded out, and exhaustion crashed over her like a wave. When did you last eat? Minjun asked. Lunch, maybe? His jaw tightened. Mrs. Cho will bring food, light, nothing that will upset your stomach. Then the doctor will examine you. He sat in a chair across from her, and for the first time since entering the car, Camille got a good look at him in proper light. Devastatingly handsome. That was the only way to describe him. Sharp jawline, high cheekbones, black hair pushed back from his forehead, eyes that seemed to see everything, a small scar through his left eyebrow that somehow made him more attractive instead of less, and an air of danger that clung to him like expensive cologne. I really don't remember you, Camille said quietly. I wish I did. If what you're saying is true, She couldn't finish the sentence. I know. Minjun leaned forward, elbows on his knees. And I'm going to find out exactly what happened that day, who arranged for you to be in that room, how they got you there without your knowledge, why they set this up. And then what? Camille asked. What happens when you find out? Something cold and final crossed his face. Then I make sure it never happens again, to anyone. The weight of those words settled between them. Mrs. Cho returned with a tray, soup, rice, vegetables, cut fruit. She set it on the table beside Camille and said something in Korean, her tone motherly. She says to eat slowly, Minjun translated, and that you're too thin for being pregnant. She's going to make it her personal mission to feed you. Despite everything, Camille found herself smiling. Tell her thank you. Minjun spoke in Korean. Mrs. Cho beamed, patted Camille's shoulder, and bustled away. Camille ate. The soup was perfect, warming without being heavy. The rice settled her stomach. She hadn't realized how hungry she was until food was in front of her. Minjun watched her eat with an expression she couldn't quite read. What? She finally asked. I'm trying to reconcile the woman sitting here with the woman I met 8 months ago, he admitted. She was different, confident, flirtatious, knew exactly what she wanted. Camille set down her spoon. That wasn't me. I mean, it was my body, but if I was drugged, whoever you met that night wasn't the real me. I'm beginning to understand that. He tilted his head slightly. Tell me about yourself, the real you. It was such an unexpected question that Camille laughed, a short, broken sound. Why? Because in a few minutes, a doctor is going to examine you and possibly confirm that you're carrying my child. I'd like to know something about the mother of my baby besides the fact that she makes terrible decisions about who to text when she's desperate. That startled another laugh from her. Fair point. So she told him about growing up in Miami with Haitian immigrant parents who worked 3 jobs between them to send her and her brother to good schools, about full-ride scholarship to Northwestern, studying social work because she wanted to help people, about meeting Dante in her senior year. He was finishing medical school, handsome and ambitious, and so sure of himself, about falling in love, about believing she'd finally found her place, her person, her future, about the miscarriages that had broken her heart 3 times before Zoe. This baby, Camille said softly, one hand on her belly, is my miracle. No matter what Dante thinks, no matter who her father is, she's mine, and I love her. Minjun's expression softened imperceptibly. She's lucky to have you. Before Camille could respond, the elevator dinged. A woman in her 50s stepped out carrying a medical bag. "Mr. Kim," she said, bowing slightly, "I came as quickly as I could." "Dr. Lim," Minjun stood. "This is Camille. She needs a full examination, her and the baby." Dr. Lim's gaze went to Camille, and her professional demeanor shifted to something warmer. "Hello, dear. How are you feeling?" "Cold, tired, scared," Camille admitted. "All understandable. Let's make sure you and baby are healthy, shall we?" Minjun showed them to a guest bedroom, larger than Camille's bedroom at Dante's house had been, with an ensuite bathroom and a bed that looked like clouds. "I'll be outside," he said. "Take your time." The door closed, and Dr. Lim smiled kindly. "Mr. Kim told me a little about your situation. I'm so sorry for what you've been through tonight." Tears pricked Camille's eyes again. "Thank you." The examination was thorough. Blood pressure, temperature, fetal heartbeat, strong and steady 148 beats per minute. Dr. Lim used a portable ultrasound machine, and suddenly, there she was. Zoe, on the screen, curled up safe inside her, oblivious to the chaos of the world outside. "She's beautiful," Dr. Lim said softly. "Perfect size for 32 weeks. Strong heartbeat. Good positioning. You've taken excellent care of her." Camille couldn't stop staring at the screen, at her daughter's profile, her tiny hand near her face. "Can you tell?" Camille hesitated. "Is there any way to tell who the father is without, waiting until she's born?" Dr. Lim considered. "There is a test, non-invasive prenatal paternity test. We'd need a blood sample from you and the potential father. It's very accurate." "How long does it take?" "About a week for results. Sometimes less if we mark it urgent." Dr. Lim paused. "Is Mr. Kim the potential father?" "Maybe," Camille whispered. "I don't know. That's the problem. I don't know anything anymore." Dr. Lim squeezed her hand. "One thing at a time, dear. Tonight you rest. Tomorrow we figure out the truth." When the examination finished, Dr. Lim declared both Camille and baby healthy, despite the stress and cold exposure. She left prenatal vitamins, instructions to rest, and a promise to return in 2 days. Minjun was waiting in the hallway when Camille emerged. "Everything okay?" he asked immediately. "She's perfect," Camille said, and realized she was crying again. "The baby's perfect." Relief crossed his face. "Good." They stood there for a moment, this strange pair bound together by circumstances neither fully understood yet. "I'll show you to your room," Minjun finally said. "You should sleep." He led her down a hallway to another guest suite. Mrs. Cho had already unpacked some of Camille's things, her toiletries in the bathroom, her clothes in the closet. Someone had even laid out pajamas on the bed. "If you need anything," Minjun said from the doorway, "press the intercom button on the wall. Someone will come." "Minjun?" Camille turned to face him. "Thank you for everything. I don't understand why you're helping me, but thank you." He looked at her for a long moment. 8 months ago, I thought you left because you wanted to, but you didn't leave. You were taken, set up, drugged and placed in my room for reasons we don't understand yet." His jaw tightened. "No one does that to someone under my protection, and whether you knew it or not, the moment you walked into that hotel room, you became mine to protect." The possessiveness in his tone should have scared her. Instead, it made her feel safe for the first time all night. "Get some sleep, Camille," he said softly. "Tomorrow we start finding answers." He closed the door quietly. Camille sank onto the bed, overwhelmed by everything. By Dante's betrayal, by the discovery of Minjun, by the possibility that her miracle baby might belong to a man she didn't even remember meeting. But as she lay down and pulled the covers over herself, one thought crystallized. Someone had done this to her deliberately. Someone had drugged her, set her up, destroyed her marriage, and tried to steal her future. And Kim Min-jun, whoever he really was going to help her find out who. She placed one hand on her belly. "It's okay, baby girl," she whispered. "Mama's going to figure this out, I promise." Zoe kicked in response, and Camille finally closed her eyes. Outside her door, Min-jun stood in the hallway for several minutes, phone in hand, staring at the information Han Seo had just sent. Vanessa Baptiste, married to Marcus Baptiste, Dante's older brother. Financial troubles, significant gambling debts, recent large deposit in her account, $50,000 3 weeks ago, source unknown, and a phone number that had been in frequent contact with another number registered to someone named Julian Cross. Min-jun made a call. "Find out who Julian Cross is," he said quietly. "And I want surveillance on Vanessa and Marcus Baptiste. Everything. Where they go, who they talk to, what they eat for breakfast. I want to know." "Yes, Hyung-nim," Han Seo responded. "Should we—" "No moves yet," Min-jun interrupted. "Just watch and find out who Julian Cross is. I have a feeling he's the key to all of this." He ended the call and looked back at Camille's closed door. Someone had played a dangerous game with an innocent woman, had drugged her, violated her autonomy, destroyed her life. All for what? Money? Revenge? It didn't matter. They'd made a critical mistake. They'd involved Kim Min-jun, and now they were going to learn that some games have deadly stakes.